Alright, so I got a Polar Star Fusion engine to do a video on. Start from the back, go to the front. He's got a stubby full stock on here. Of course, got the FCU and the JST battery in here. PTS pistol grip. This is one of the, what do they call it, K2, K1? Maybe I'm totally wrong on that. It's one of the kind of straighter ones. I have one on my SR25. Love them. It's a VFC base, so he's got a VFC lower and a VFC upper, but it's Airsoft Junkies licensed, which is pretty cool. It's obviously all metal. Standard selector switch, standard magazine catch, standard bolt lock. Got all the standard features on the outside. He's got MBUS front and rear flip-up sights and a replica ACOG. Don't know what brand. I haven't even turned it on. I don't use sights, but it's just there for looks. He's got a Troy TRX. I believe this is Madbull. It's licensed though, which is really cool. These are cool rails. So he's got a AFG on the front here. Now it's kind of far for me, but I'm smaller than he is and a lot older than he is too, but I guess, you know, being short's the way I am. So got an AFG there. It's got two rails on either side. This one is just a rail cover there, so he can put a flashlight there. And then the other side, I think he said this is the Alabama state flag, and he grew up in Alabama, so that's pretty cool. Some just pride there, state pride. Okay, outer barrel, I don't know what brand it is. No idea. Oh, probably VFC. I see the trademarks on it. Probably VFC is what I'd assume. Maybe Madbull, because I know he got the Madbull rail. Suppressor on here is foam filled. I did not do this, thankfully. He already had it done. He might have bought it like this, because I think you can buy foam filled suppressors from China. I don't know if that's what he did. And then there's a QD flash hider on here, which is very sharp, and it's very loud with it off, with the suppressor off, which is cool, really quiet, and then with it off, it's very loud. I like that kind of thing. As far as the engine, it actually has the EMG Fusion engine. It's the newest gen, so it's the Gen 3, which is pretty cool. EMG blue, which is really freaking cool. Pro and hop up, Orga wide bore barrel, and it's S-hopped with a G&G green bucking. Flat hop bucking, or nub too. So, internals on the engine, it's got a red poppet, which I actually can confirm because it does have a low flow red poppet. It's got a purple nozzle, a amped IGL, and the speed straight trigger that I shortened for him and glued the screw so it doesn't move. And that's pretty much it. Shoots too hot with this, okay? He lives probably about 30-40 minutes away, so he has a black nozzle, so he's going to install that himself. I do have the engine tuned and everything, so he should just be able to pop that nozzle in there, which he knows how to do. He's taken the engine apart before. I told him if he has any issues when he puts the black nozzle in and it just starts shooting weird, then I'll get the gun back from him and tune it with the black nozzle. But the black nozzle is like an in-between. It's like in between the CQB and the wide bore. It's not a gold, because the gold's the CQB, and then it's the silver, I believe, and then it's the black, and then it's the red and purple. So it's a step down from what he has, which will be good, and it should feed and do, you know, fine. So at 80 PSI right now, it's shooting like 430 with a .2. So shooting hot for sure. And it doesn't cycle at a lower PSI. So the lowest this can go is 70 PSI for it to cycle, which, you know, that it is what it is there. Some engines go lower than that, you know. But the goal was to shoot 350 with a .2 at 80 PSI, and if he needs to go lower, 70, you know, will feed. If he needs to shoot like 330, 320, just in case a field limit or whatever. Depends on the field limits and BB weight limits, but probably 2 5s for indoor, which this can hop. You can turn the hop up down. I made sure of that, and it can even not over hop 2s if he wants to use 2s in here. So 2 or 2 5s for indoor, doesn't need much range, and then outdoor .3s. I have it set for 35 rounds a second, which is perfect. If people complain, I told him, turn your FPS up, keep the .3s, and lower your rate of fire. 25 rounds a second, he'll know how to adjust his FCU to lower that to 25, and then he can just turn the FPS up, you know, run like 90 PSI and shoot smack dab 400 and use .3s, and you're busting out 1.7 joules, and, you know, people will call the hit at that. You just not be able to run high rate of fire. People will still find a way to complain. Oh, he's got a dye mask on. He's too aggressive. He shot me from 30 feet away. That's too close. Stuff like that. There's always going to be things that people can complain about. But, you know, running the high rate of fire will be something less that they can complain about. if he were to turn it down. But honestly, keep it at 35, have fun. If people complain, turn it down and turn your FPS up, because there's no reason to run 25 at 350. That's ridiculous. Turn your stuff up to the limit if you have to run 25. Let's do the mid cap first. As far as air, I am at 500 psi in this tank. I have already used, this will be my second tank tuning this gun. It's not as air efficient because it doesn't have a QEV or a banjo fitting, so that would save like an extra 500 shots with having that tank or QEV. But it does have the low flow poppet and a wide bore nozzle, and so it's doing all right. It's doing all right. He does run a SFR just like me, but he also runs a carbon fiber, I think a 90 cubic inch or an 88. It is a big tank, so that is going to last him a long time. In fact, when he played with it, he probably shot 3,000 rounds and went down like 2,000 psi and had a half full tank at the end of the day. Like, that's pretty good. You know, he's only using half of the tank in each given day, and he shoots a pretty good amount, just like me. So let's just go and shoot it. Now, these are .32s that I'm using. That's what he had. They're not as good as some of the brands, so he's going to be probably getting a little bit better brand. So, but it's still pretty consistent. I'm just turning the hop up. See, I'm smacking that tree pretty much every time. It's not very far, but yeah, see, semi-automatic all day. You can go hammer on this trigger. Let's go ahead and test feet per second. I know my videos get kind of weird during the summer because I kind of stand and do this. I know it's not as professional as it should be, but sorry guys, it's too hot to stand over there in the sun. It's ridiculous. 387, 389, 390, 389, 380, 386, 390, 390, 379, so it's fairly consistent. I mean, that's okay. 2 joules flat with a .3. I have it set for .3s. It's a 3.2, but it's close enough for the joule reading. This is really high. This is DMR feet per second. But it's very, very quiet. Magazine is out. Alright, let's go ahead and get a rate of fire reading for you guys. 35.6 rounds a second. So as you can see where the current settings are, 35 rounds a second is achievable. And in fact, I could probably bump this thing up to 40. It's perfect. Range is really, really good. Like I said, not the best BBs. Not the best BBs, but we're shooting 200 feet plus. So you know, working the trigger is no issue for this gun at all. Obviously, this is shooting way harder. This is shooting like 100 FPS higher than what it should be. So when I'm hitting that tree and you hear it, it's loud. It hurts. This would hurt. This is 2 joules on full auto. Like, this is ridiculous. This is nothing that he'll ever run. He's going to be shooting probably about 1.3 joules with a .3 at 350 FPS with a .2, and he pops .3s in here, 1.3 for outdoor, which is, you know, decent. That's the highest I would go at, you know, high rate of fire is 1.3. I wouldn't go over that. Here's without the suppressor. That sounds so good, dude. Oh, my air's running out. It's still feeding, though. I'll just stick to semi and see how long I can get on semi. Alright, so I'm placing the camera out here so that you can hear how loud it is, you know, being shot at. Again, I'm almost out of air. Also, with a tighter bore nozzle, there's going to be less air coming out of the front of the gun, so it's going to be even quieter. This is a very, very quiet gun. You're definitely going to hear the BBs hit the targets. I'm going to try to shoot through the woods to where you can't hear it hit trees, but you're definitely going to hear it hit stuff. But I want to hear it like whiz by kind of thing. So again, when we're shooting 350 with a 2, which is 1.3 with a 0.3, with a tighter nozzle, it's going to be quieter. This gun just needs one more addition. Bam! Now it's complete. So that's pretty much it. If you have any questions, let me know. Thank you so much for watching.